World Cup semifinals being battled out. Host nation Brazil took on Germany in the World Cup semifinals. And in the latest round of NBR's Ultimate Stock Cup, two giants of the internet square off in the global marketplace. Representing the U.S., it's Google going up against China's Alibaba.
At its core, Google is a search engine, a company that helps you find stuff. Its profits embedded in search-related ads. So how big is it? Well, how many companies have ever become a verb? Founded in 1998 by Stanford PhD students Larry Page and Sergey Brin, it's headquartered in Mountain View, California. 2013 revenue, more than $59 billion. Page and Brin opposed ads at first, hoping to keep their page uncluttered. It's since become cluttered with money, which allowed them to buy the companies that have given us the likes of YouTube, Google Earth, Google Maps, and Android. And that's only a short list of Google's gaggle. Only a year later, in 1999, Alibaba was founded in China by a one-time English teacher named Jack Ma. It's headquartered now in Hangzhou and soon to go public in New York. 2013 revenue, about $7.5 billion. One Alibaba service, Taobao, gives 7 million smaller businesses a chance to sell direct to consumers. Sellers buy ad space, hoping to get noticed. Another service, Tmall, is where companies like Nike, Gap, and Apple pay Alibaba so they can sell online in China. Alibaba has also been expanding into mobile phones, mobile payment, banking, and even TV and film production. Alibaba and Google, it's a battle of a lifetime.
So who will dominate in this global rivalry, Google or Alibaba? Channing Smith weighs in. He's portfolio manager at Capital Advisors. I know that you favor Google. Tell us why you think Google over Alibaba is the stronger player. Make the case.
Well, I think one of the things you have to look at, and kind of looking at Germany and Brazil today, I kind of liken Google to Germany. They're very controlled. They play a very possession type of game. If you look at Google search, they have about 70% of the desktop market. They have about 70% of the mobile market. This is their bread and butter, but they also are able to set up opportunities in other areas which they've invested in. If you look at mobile advertising, this is a $8 billion run rate type of business. It's growing. We think it can double or triple over the next couple of years. They have YouTube, which is an enormous franchise. If you look at views, page views over the last year, it's up 50%. We think that this could be, a $5 billion business this year, probably triple. They have a number. They have Google Payments. They have all types of different businesses that can grow revenues and earnings going forward at a steady pace.
But Channing, there is bound to be tremendous excitement later this year, probably this summer, when Alibaba comes public. What would you advise American stock investors to do when they hear inevitably on this program and other places a lot of that talk about Alibaba?
We would be careful. I mean, we're very interested in Alibaba. Look, this is a company that controls about 84% of the Chinese e-commerce market. They dominate. They have a very strong network. This is a company that's going to benefit from an urbanization trend, from growing middle class, from wages increasing, from internet usage increasing in China. But the valuation reflects a lot of this. Look, I've heard $200 billion to $250 billion is the valuation coming out. To assume that valuation's right, you have to assume 40% revenue growth over the next couple of years. And if you look at Google, it's just much cheaper. The revenues and earnings are about 5 times greater than Alibaba. And we would say, take a step back. Can the company produce this? Can they grow at this? Can they meet expectations? Look what happened to Facebook. Facebook came out through high expectations. The stock went down 50%.
Right.
A recent example would be Twitter. They lost 50%. So we would take a step back and kind of wait for evaluation. If it comes under about $150 billion, we think it's a buy.
All right. Well, while people are waiting, another area that to compare these two companies is in terms of innovations, in terms of creativity. Both of them have a very broad product mix. Who's got the edge when it comes to disruptive innovations and creativity?
Well, I think both companies are very strong. If you look at Alibaba, it's more of a China play. I wouldn't say it's a global play. If you look at Google, it's more of a global play. Most of the growth from Google right now is coming outside of its borders. But we like Google because of the Android. There's a 1 billion installed base for users there that creates a big opportunity for advertising within that space. We like the video that they're in. So it's really two different companies. We think Google is more broad at this point, but don't count Alibaba out. You know, the growth opportunity in China is enormous. Inside the borders, that country has tremendous growth opportunities, and Alibaba can grow for a long time at a very high rate just within its borders in China.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch this competition. Channing Smith with Capital Advisors, thank you so much. So you just heard what our guest thinks. Now we want to hear from you. Which stock do you prefer, Google or Alibaba? Go to vote on our website, nbr.com.
And now to the results from last week's Global Rivals Challenge, where we ask you to choose between Nike and Adidas. The winner, big time, Nike. 68% of you voted for the American sportswear company, while just 32% of you thought rival Adidas was the better investment.